Thank you very much. Good evening. It is 4 p.m. on October 16th, Wednesday. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order for the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues. Appreciate everyone being with me. And just to let everybody know, this meeting will be broadcast live on CTN, cable channel 16, ATT channel 19, and online at a2gov.org/watchctn. For those of you who want to speak at public comment, please call toll free 877-853-5247 or dial 888-788-0099 and enter meeting ID 919-8673-1455. With that, I would like to do roll call. So Kennedy, if you don't mind doing the roll call, and then when Kennedy does call on individuals, if you could just unmute, state your name and where you're coming from today, that would be great. Thank you.
All right, here we go. We first have Chair Damon.
Of course. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Zach Damon. I'm coming to you from Ann Arbor, Michigan, Washtenaw County.
Next, we have Vice Chair Keeler.
Vice Chair Keeler, Larry Keeler, and I'm coming to you from my recliner in Ann Arbor.
Commissioner Mozak.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kathleen Mozak, and I am calling in from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Solomon.
Matthew Solomon, Commissioner, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Hawkins. Commissioner Gossage. Commissioner Ratcliffe.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Ratcliffe calling from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Chambers.
Yes, this is Elena Chambers calling from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Packard.
Commissioner Packard coming to you from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Buis.
Hi, Lori Buis calling from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Commissioner Hankenbauer. And Councilmember Gazi Edwin.
Hi, everyone. Councilmember Gazi Edwin coming to you from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
All right. That is our roll call.
Thank you so much, Kennedy. I do appreciate it. We now move to the public comment section of the agenda for today. Just a reminder, anyone who does come on for public comment today, you will have 3 minutes for public comment. Kennedy, do we have anybody on for public comment this afternoon?
Currently at this time, I see no one on for public comment.
All right. Thank you. Next, I'd like to move to the approval of the agenda. All of us on the commission should have received a copy of today's agenda ahead of time for any review or any notes. So I would like to see if there's a motion to approve today's agenda.
This is Kathleen. I
I'll
move to
move to.
approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Vice Chairman Keeler. So, Kathleen, thank you for the motion. Larry seconds. All in favor of approving today's agenda. For those commissioners, please unmute and say aye.
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 Okay. All right. Thank you. The agenda is approved. Next, we have the approval of the meeting minutes from last meeting. Kennedy, do we know, were those were sent out, correct? I just want to double check.
Right. Or, I'm sorry, let me double check that. I think they were, yes. Commissioner Mozak?
I just looked on the agenda and there was no attachment, so I did not see the minutes.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. All right. So with that, I don't think we can approve the minutes from last meeting. So we might have to move that to the agenda for our next meeting if everyone has not seen them.
My apologies. I thought I had sent them out on the agenda.
No problem. We'll just go ahead and if we could shelve that to the next meeting, that would be great.
Will do, yes.
All right. I'll go ahead and move on to our special presentation portion of today's meeting. I have to say, I'm super excited for this particular presentation. Not only is this gentleman very engaging, does a wonderful job, and is very knowledgeable about the particular industry of adaptive vehicles, but also, I have to be honest, before I had interacted with this gentleman, I actually had no idea that we had a adaptive vehicle company in our city located right in Ann Arbor. And so I was very grateful to actually know of Superior Van and Mobility, and that they are actually in our city and available for all residents to be able to not only provide them with the resources to be able to drive, but also with vehicles and the adaptive equipment to make all vehicles accessible. So with that, no pressure, Joe, but I'd like to introduce Joe DeCola from Superior Van and Mobility. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Zach. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you guys having me on today. I was very grateful to meet Zach at a meeting earlier this year. And I'm just excited to come talk about adaptive driving, accessible vehicles, and Zach, you're not alone. There are not enough people that know that we are located in Ann Arbor, right off 23 in Carpenter. Like we are right smack dab in it, right off the highway, and it's something I'm very passionate about. It is one of our newer locations. But I try to talk to as many different groups as I can about resources, funding opportunities, what these vehicles look like, the availability of hand controls, lifts, turning seats, what they can do, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to come talk to you all today. I don't know if I'm going to show the slides from my end or your end, but I have a couple slides prepared that I can go over with you guys as well too.
Kennedy, are you able to give Joe share access?
Yes, I can. 1 second.
Thank you.
You should be able to share your screen now.
I should probably unmute myself before I pull up my screen. So hopefully you all, can everyone hear me? Just want to make sure.
I can, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right. So like Zach mentioned, I'm with a company called Superior Van and Mobility. We are the largest family-owned mobility dealership in the country. We have 17, soon to be 18 store locations across the nation. We stem from a lot of the Midwest areas. Our most recent store, we've been in the market now in Michigan for the past several years, is Ann Arbor, Michigan. And that's kind of where Zach and I met. He brought me in to come talk to you all. This is going to be a much more condensed version of everything that is out there. I'm here as a resource. I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have, or if you work with anybody that might have issues about mobility, please let me know. I will try and cover as much as I can in the time that I have allotted, but I also want to be respectful of your guys' times as well too. Okay, the main thing to know about Superior Van Mobility is we are part of an organization called National Mobility Equipment Dealers Association. They are essentially the safeguard of the industry that guarantee the work that's done on the vehicles. There's documentation of everything that's done. Everything is crash tested and approved, which is not always the case if you work with more independent shops. But because we're part of this national organization, it's a higher safety standard for those that are in the vehicle and those that are driving next to the vehicle as well too. With that comes a stamp of approval from NMETA, we call it the QAP, Quality Assurance Program. The biggest benefit of a QAP dealership is that you have 24/7 service. So you can actually call our store any time of the day, any day of the week, and you will get a technician on the phone very easily. So anyone that has lift issues, mobility issues, that suddenly their seat won't come in the vehicle, whatever the case is, you can get a technician on the phone, which you can't do that at a standard dealership. But that's a benefit of working with an Amita QAP dealer. And there are other mobility dealers that are in Michigan. They are not all part of this program. But ideally, what you want to do is you go to namita.org, and there's a search engine to find your closest location. For all of your guys' purposes, we are the ones in Ann Arbor, so you'll likely want to work with us just because we're close by. But if you have anybody that's not right in our backyard, if they look at that search engine, they can find their closest Namita dealer. So as long as you're not working with us, but it's another dealer that has that same accreditation, that's the biggest focus that we want to try and push is Namita dealers that have higher standards. There's guarantee of the work being done. Everything that's crash tested and approved, from the hand controls, the wheelchair tie downs, the tourney seats, nothing is installed haphazardly. And if anyone were to install hand controls outside of an Namita dealership, by law, a Namita dealership cannot touch that vehicle anymore. It's then outside of the warranty. They've done work themselves. There's no longer that guarantee of safety anymore. So we try and advocate for people to not just go buy hand controls online. We see it all the time, but they buy their own equipment. People will buy vans online, fully adapted, and they come with hand controls not installed. They try and do it themselves and make a mistake. Unfortunately, it happens, and we get why, but it's a big issue that we're trying to kind of cover right now. And Namita dealerships will work with consumers for as long as necessary. It's not a you come in, we got to close the end of the day. It's how long can we work with you to get you the equipment and vehicle that actually suits those needs. So always look for that stamp of QAP. Okay, so how does it work? Well, how does the process work? Some of this might be familiar with you guys, some of it might not be. But the biggest thing I want to talk about is when you find your dealer, like going to the Namita website, the first question that's always asked is that person in a wheelchair going to be driving, or is it going to be transport only? If you're going to be driving, however, temporarily from a wheelchair, whether it's in the chair or transferring to the seat, you need to have hand controls. And with that comes driver training. So certified driver rehabilitation specialists are occupational therapists by trade that get additional certifications and actually will get behind the wheel with people to actually help them with hand controls, figure out, is it a push-pull hand control? Is it push-right twist? And it's a certification on their license that they get that then shows us and their insurance company that they've done the work, that equipment works for them, and that we can then install that equipment. We're not allowed to install any equipment into a vehicle without that prescription directly from a CDRS. As you can imagine, a lot of our work hinges on them, and there is a shortage in the world, but it's the same kind of world of there's a search engine on aided.net to find your closest driver evaluator. There are several in Michigan that can help. They're very great. We work a lot of different ones. But that is a big part of what we do because some people don't know that they exist. And if you were to install hand controls and not go through a CDRS, and God forbid you get in an accident, if there's not that mark on your insurance, if there's not the documentation on your license, insurance will not cover the damages. They will likely revoke your license because you're driving using equipment that you shouldn't. So it's better to go the sometimes a little bit longer route and go through those safety trainings. So if there is an incident where you actually get in an accident, whether it's your fault or not, you're more covered than if you try to do it yourself. That's a big push we always try to do. And then if you're not going to be driving from a wheelchair at all and you don't need hand controls, you can skip number 2 and you can come in and buy a fully adapted van right off our lot like you would a typical van. And there's a bunch of different funding options out there as well. And that's kind of the next step I want to kind of cover. So countrywide, almost all states have something called vocational rehabilitation. So Voc Rehab will fund a conversion of a vehicle if that person is going to be working. However, temporary, it could be a part-time job where you're working 3 hours a week. If you have that distinction that you're going to work and you need a vehicle, Voc Rehab will fund the conversion. So it's always split by the chassis and by the conversion itself. The chassis is just the vehicle. The vehicle is not the medical need. It's the conversion process that's the medical need. And some people think that these vehicles are just ramps in vans, and they're actually not. And if I had abundance of time, I'd show you all the videos, all the case studies that we have. But really, it's a whole new subfloor of a vehicle. So they essentially cut out the entire bottom. They rewire everything, add in different seating. They add in the tracks along the floor to put in the wheelchair tie downs as well too. So most conversions alone cost about $30,000 to $40,000, which I understand is expensive, and that's why these groups are so important to have. So voc rehab is big. The VA is huge. And I'll have to fact check this because this might have just recently changed. But up until I think like a week or two ago, the VA, if you're a 100% service connected veteran, you can get a fully converted van every 2 years with your benefits. Most people don't know that information, unfortunately. So we try and advocate as much as we can that those benefits exist, especially for our veterans. It's a huge population of people that we support that there's not a lot of support for them. And we are happy to help kind of walk through that process. We try and connect veterans with their VSOs or the veteran hospitals. We work closely with them all the time, try to help kind of get that funding source, which is very, very big source. Next is a group called Bridge to Mobility. It's actually brand new, and it essentially tries to drive customers to work with a Namita dealership, and then that Namita dealership applies to Bridge to Mobility on their behalf, and you can get up to $5,000 of assistance towards that purchase process. And that sometimes really could be a make or break deal of, do I go with this van or not? So that's a great option. In Michigan specifically, there's Michigan Medicaid waivers. There's the Children's Special Needs Fund for anyone that has disability that's a child. There's funds additionally for that as well. And also specific to Michigan is a group called Lori's Voice. Lori's Voice tries to give away at least 2 fully adapted vans every 2 years. Or no, I'm sorry. Tries to give at least 2 vans every year to a family in need. So families actually can apply on Lori's Voice, try to get those vehicles as well. And that's a great opportunity that is specific to just Michigan and Michigan alone. And there's more groups that are trying to do that. They already have the program up and running. I have no connection with the organization. I just heard about it, and I try to drive people there as much as I can. But something else that's offered that most people don't know is it's called, so the OEMs or original equipment manufacturers, since they don't do any of the conversion process, what they do offer is rebates on the tail end of the purchase process. So you can get up to $1,200 of assistance from an OEM if you purchase a new vehicle. So a Namita dealership knows this information, and they can help someone walk through this process and make sure they apply for this rebate. It's not something that helps the initial cost, but it helps on the tail end after the purchase is already made. So if that is something that people need and that could make or break the deal, we will try to help guide people towards a newer vehicle if it fits that need, so they can get this assistance as well too. Okay, so this is what a full-size van looks like. It used to look a little different where it was a raised roof. Now there's full lift systems, and there are even some that are brand new where they don't have to put the lift underneath the vehicle anymore. Actually, can be in the flooring. That's like brand new from Ronability. Most full-size vans, the biggest benefit is the fact that you can have more than 2 people in a wheelchair in a full-size van. So these are very common with companies, hospitals, transportation organizations. These are fantastic for that reason, just because of the space that those allow. But what most people will utilize is a lowered floor minivan. So lowered floor minivans, there are side entry and there are rear entry vans. Side entry vans are for anybody that's going to be driving from their wheelchair or transferring into a transfer seat and then utilizing it to the steering wheel. That's just because you still have the trunk space in the back, whereas you wouldn't naturally in a rear entry, whereas rear entry, it's more about just getting that person inside the vehicle. There's always fold out and in-floor ramps. Fold out ramps can deploy at any curb height, and in-floor ramps are great because they're a little bit sleeker design, so you can use both sides of the vehicle without having to deploy that ramp. But both can be utilized even without electric. So if there is an electrical failure inside the vehicle, both ramps can deploy, and they have a 1,000-pound weight capacity now because most power wheelchairs are 400 pounds. Having that additional weight allows that person to get in the vehicle very easily. And as you can tell by that middle picture, there is a lot of space on the inside now. They're rubber flooring. They're very easy to clean. And there are wheelchair tie downs that you kind of manipulate all throughout the inside. But not everyone wants minivans. Some people want SUVs. So the only adapted SUV on the market is a Chevy Traverse. It looks just like the standard SUV Chevy Traverse, but it has a rolling door like a minivan. Some people want that look of the SUV, but they were smaller, so they had to kind of accommodate that by putting the door in like the minivan to allow for that door to that wider width, taller door opening. It's always going to power in floor in a Chevy Traverse. They're very nice vehicles. We see a lot of this happening with young families that want to still have, they need the accessibility feature, but they want to have a little bit sleeker than the minivan. Additionally, some people want to convert trucks as well too. The bottom picture that you see there, that is actually a full platform conversion from in a truck. We at Superior don't get involved in anything to that extent, just quite frankly, because they're very expensive to do. But what we do offer for trucks and any vehicle for that instance is what's called a turning seat, and that's that top right picture. So that's the original factory seat that turns and lowers to the ground, all by remote control. There's something called then a hoist lift. You can see picking up that wheelchair, putting it in the back of the bed of the truck, and sometimes there's even like a rolling top that will cover that wheelchair as well too. Turning seats are fantastic and can be installed in pretty much any vehicle. We've seen them installed in just typical four-door sedans. They can be in the front or the back of a minivan, depending on where that person is seating. They're great to help people transfer from a wheelchair into the seat. We can talk more about that in a little bit. They're also great for anyone that might be elderly that's afraid to get in a vehicle. That seat can kind of meet them where their height is, so they're not afraid and having that white knuckle grip on that door frame, and that kind of helps them get into the vehicle a little bit easier. Okay, and I know I'm going fast, but like I said, there's so much details to cover. I'm trying to do the best I can here. So there are hand controls, wheelchair tie downs, lifts. The main thing to know about all of this, that a part of Namita, everything is crash tested and approved, even down to the wheelchair tie downs. So they look like the standard seat belts. They have automatic and manual straps. And that picture you see under the logo Q Strength, that's actually called a Q lock that gets bolted into the floor. So that is an option for anybody to actually just roll directly into. It'll secure them into place, and they can release themselves from the dashboard. That's very common. We see that with power wheelchairs that are going to be driving. That way there's not additional movement. It's easier to kind of handle that. But there are manual hand controls. There are steel rods, that middle picture, and electronic mobility controls down in the bottom right. So that electronic mobility controls actually remove the gas and the brake. Everything is controlled by a box up by the dashboard. That's very common with power wheelchairs. But some people need it. Depends on kind of what their functionality is. So there is now options to meet everyone's accessibility levels. And because of that, there is equipment to match all of those needs as well too. Even down to like the left foot accelerator, which is the bottom left-hand corner, that flips the gas and the brake. So anyone that might have had a stroke on their right side, they're a right side amputee, a left foot accelerator puts that gas pedal on the left-hand side. And all this stuff has to go through driver training. But the benefit of it is to get them back on the road. Whereas 20 years ago, they might have just been told that they're stuck because there's no options for them. That is no longer the option. Everyone can have the ability to drive now. It depends on, are they able to go through driver training, willing to take the time, and do they want that improved quality of life? That's quite frankly, because that's what all of this stuff can offer, and improve quality of life for a caregiver as well too, which should be my next slide. Yes. So not just people that are with disabilities that are going to be driving, but caregivers are supporting them as well too. Not everyone wants to fold up a wheelchair and cram it into a trunk. Oftentimes that's too tight. So there are lifts to accommodate that. There are exterior lifts on the back end of vehicles. There are interior lifts that can pick up that wheelchair and put it inside the vehicle if that's something you're looking for. It really just depends on that specific model of the vehicle, their towing capacity, what that person wants. And these are great for a lot of people to not have to try to cram down wheelchairs into just a standard trunk. So this is a whole other department that we help people with all the time. Okay, this is a great example of a tourney seat. Tourney seats are quite inexpensive compared to buying a whole new vehicle. They're honestly awesome. I had one installed in my own grandma's vehicle because she was a fall risk. She was afraid to go on the road. She didn't want to go anywhere. And so we had it installed into her vehicle just because then she kind of met her where she needed to, could get her in the vehicle, could get her out on the road again. And this helps a lot of people from the caregiver's perspective of trying to pick someone up and put them in the wheelchair. And also from the person in the wheelchair, allows them to transfer a little bit easier. I'm actually still working on my own another one of my family members. My cousin has a disability called broken X syndrome. So she does utilize a wheelchair, has very limited mobility issues. She can kind of crawl a little bit, but she can't really walk. So she's in the chair a lot of the times. So my uncle actually will pick her up, very similar to this picture, will pick her up and put her inside the vehicle. He can do it because he's 6'5" and has no problem. But my aunt is 5'1". So in the event that anything happens to him, my cousin will be very much stuck in her chair because my aunt could not pick her up. So I'm still trying to talk to him about how maybe he should have that installed in his own vehicle just to kind of help them have that ease of mind as well too. Okay. I feel like I'm almost up my time, but so lastly here are just some resources as well. It's just a very long list of where you can go to find all the information, learn more about the OEM resources, our resources, Namita, where to find your driver evaluator, all that kind of stuff. And I'm happy to share more information as well. And then lastly, I know I talked fast, but I wanted to be respectful of your guys' time as well too. But my name is Joe DeCola. I'm the field marketing representative from our Fort Wayne, South Bend, and our Ann Arbor location. I pretty much cover any community organizations, North Indiana and all of Michigan. So if you ever have anyone that has questions, that needs resources, that wants to learn more about this stuff, by all means, call me, email me, reach out. I am happy to kind of get this information out. I don't sell at all. My whole life is just marketing and teaching people, try to help kind of get more people back on the road, because our focus is making mobility possible. How can we kind of widen the world for everybody? And that's why I like meeting people like Zach, who kind of help make these things happen as well too. So that is all I have. Any questions or anything for me?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. I just want to, first of all, just thank you so much for all of that information. And yes, I know it is difficult to cover a expansive subject matter like accessible vehicles in a short amount of time, but I appreciate you doing that, not just for our commission, but for the members of the community as well. And so, yeah, with that, I mean, I'd like to open it up at least, I will say, to 3 questions just for the interest of time. And then beyond the 3, you guys, I will say that if there are any additional questions, you know, please, you know, hopefully we as a commission can keep in touch with you, Joe, and you know, be able to reach out to you as a guide and a resource for any other questions regarding mobility and accessible vehicles. With that,
Anytime.
oh, awesome, thank you. With that, if there are individuals and commissioners that do have questions at this time, please raise your hand and Kennedy will call on you.
Commissioner Packard?
Yes, the ultimate accessibility vehicle to someone who doesn't drive because of vision is obviously autonomous vehicles. Do you deal in anything like that at all? And do you know where that process is for this area?
Yeah, we do not just yet. We kind of like to say that our industry is slightly behind where standard car industry is. I totally see the value in autonomous vehicles with mobility vehicles as well too. I have no idea what kind of opening that will create. In my head, I think it actually would open the world more to people. It might change how driver evaluators are used, but in the instance of helping people get around more, that have vehicles that are more reliable for themselves, I definitely see that world coming for sure. But we have not dealt with that just yet. Good question.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Commissioner Packard?
Oh, and if someone wants to, if you want to put a phone number or contact information or anything out there, if people have any further questions on how to get in touch with you, feel free.
Yeah, my cell phone number is 260-888-9353. I always have my cell phone on me. I'm happy to send this to Kennedy and Zach as well too. My email is jdecola, DICOLA, at superiorvan.com. Anyone can reach me at any time with questions. Like I always say, I'm not in sales. I'm just a resource of how can I help market, how can I help get you guys what you need. I'm happy to send you resource lists, links to anything, videos to anything. I am here as your guys' kind of personal information guide about how to navigate this very complex industry.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe. And I can't say enough just how much we appreciate having this resource right here in Ann Arbor, but then also having you as a contact point for us as well going forward. So thank you so much. And, you know, I hope we can continue just to be a resource for you as well, so that if there are questions that you have in terms of, you know, drivers with disabilities or things you want to do to be able to reach out, hopefully you feel that you can do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys taking the time to let me kind of talk at you here for a minute, and Zach for inviting me in to come to meet everybody. I will follow up with all my contact info for you guys as well too. You are more than welcome to share it if everyone has questions offline as well too. But yeah, I am here as a resource for whatever you need.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Joe. All right. Yeah, really appreciate all that. I mean, who knows, guys? Maybe we'll have to swing by the office there and all check it out together as a commission. That'd be fun, right? Maybe do some test drives. Awesome, awesome, cool. Appreciate it. Next on our agenda, I want to move to our next presentation. So we do have the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Print Disabled, and we have Katie Monkevich. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me as always. Happy to be here. And that was a really great presentation. I learned a lot too, so I appreciate that. I'm going to tell you about some upcoming events that are happening at the Ann Arbor District Library. In the spirit of Halloween, we have Haunted Mitten Presents Haunted Ann Arbor on Thursday, October 24th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Downtown Library. Come for a spooky evening of history and ghost stories about Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti with the hosts of Haunted Mitten podcast. We've also been having these after hours concerts every once in a while lately, and we've got one coming up with the band Mercury Salad. This is going to be on Friday, October 25th from 9 to 10 p.m. So after the library is closed at the Downtown Library in our first floor lobby. These have been very popular and fun. For this one, Ypsilanti-based Mercury Salad has a simple approach to music. Write tunes that make people groove and sing along. Their dreamy folk and funky acoustic sounds win them fans everywhere around Michigan. Mercury Salad performs at many premier Michigan venues like MASH in Ypsilanti, Bliss Fest Music Festival, and Forest Trail Music Festival. After a successful festival tour in 2021, the band released its third album, Volume 3, in April 2022. Volume 3 was voted Best Local Album in Best of Washtenaw 2022 in Current Magazine. The library will be providing a live stream of this event, and we do intend to make it available for future viewing. So if you can't make it, you can check it out later, but a video player will appear on the event page 1 hour before the start of the event. And we're also having A2 Community Book Fest. This is going to be on Sunday, November 3rd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Downtown Library. We invite you to join us for a day celebrating books at the A2 Community Book Fest. Formerly known as Carytown Book Fest, the A2 Community Book Fest is thrilled to return to downtown Ann Arbor for 2024. Booksellers, publishers, authors, and more will be on the vendor floor from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and various activities for all ages, such as keynote author talks, hands-on crafts for kids and adults, story times, and discussion groups will take place throughout the day. Additionally, the Fifth Avenue Press annual author reception will celebrate books published by the library in the past year. For all of the BookFest events that are happening, go to aadl.org/bookfest or just give us a call and we'll give you more details. So as usual, Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Print Disabled patrons are encouraged to give us a call to order books or anything else they need at 734-327-4224. You can also email us at wlbpd@aadl.org. We encourage everyone to sign up for the Braille audio reading download service, also known as BARD. You can download your own book on demand. You just need to visit nlsbard.loc.gov or call us and we can help with the application. Some books that have recently been added to BARD in the last month. We have Happiness, a guide to developing life's most important skill by Mathieu Ricard. In this groundbreaking book, Mathieu Ricard makes a passionate case for happiness as a goal that deserves at least much energy as any other in our lives. Health, fitness, career success, how can we possibly place these above true and lasting well-being? Drawing from works of fiction and poetry, Western philosophy, Buddhist beliefs, scientific research, and personal experience, Ricard weaves an inspirational and forward-looking account of how we can begin to rethink our realities in a fast-moving modern world. With its revelatory lessons and exercises, Happiness is an eloquent and stimulating guide to a happier life. And we also have Magic Enough, poems by Tara Stringfellow, an electrifying collection of poems that tells a universal tale of survival and revolution through the lens of Black femininity. Tara M. Stringfellow embraces complexity, grappling with the sometimes painful, sometimes wonderful way two conflicting things can be true at the same time. How it's possible to have a strong voice and also feel silenced, to be loyal to things and people that betray us, to burn as hot with rage as we do with love. Each poem asks how we can heal and sustain relationships with people, systems, and ourselves. How to reach for the kind of real love that allows for the truth of anger, disappointment, and grief. Unapologetic, unafraid, and glorious in its nuance, this collection argues that when it comes to living in our full humanity, we have and we are magic enough. And that is all that I have for you today. Does anybody have any library related questions for me? Or any questions?
Oh, Katie, I just have a comment. First of all, thank you for ending it on "We are magic enough." I think that's super awesome, and that we are indeed. As far as the after hours concerts, how late do they go?
So they go till 10 p.m. usually. It's usually 9 to 10. This
Got it.
one is at least. They might be varying hours, but I think that's typical.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Katie? Alrighty then.
All right, thank you all so much. It's good to see everybody and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, Katie. All right. Next, we have our report from the Disability Network, Washtenaw, Monroe, and Livingston with Andrea Henry. Andrea, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I just want to highlight a couple of upcoming events. Can't believe I'm about to talk about November and December already, but here we go. On Saturday, November 9th, we have a community harvest gathering at our Ann Arbor location. So that is basically an opportunity for the community to come together for some free food and festivities. There will also be an opportunity at that gathering for folks to shop a local disabled artist market for the holiday season. The harvest gathering itself will take place from 12 noon to 2 p.m. and the market will be open from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. If you're not able to join us that day, we do have a second opportunity coming up in December on Saturday, December 7th, to also shop the holiday market from 1 to 4 p.m. also at our Ann Arbor location. And that's all I have today, short and sweet, but just want to bring those upcoming events to everyone's attention.
Hey, thank you so much, Andrea. And thank you to the Disability Network, Washtenaw, Monroe, Livingston, for all the great things that they continue to give and provide for our community. I just wanted to point out, too, folks, in terms of Disability Network, they did have a recent awesome fundraising event at Mothfire Brewing last week, and I had an opportunity to attend that. That was a lot of fun. So thank you to the Disability Network for hosting that. I thought it was beautiful weather, really great chance to kind of come out and support you guys, and I was glad to see that there was good attendance.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Next, we have the Partners in Access Subcommittee report with Larry Keeler. Larry?
Hello. And I enjoyed both presentations, especially the first one. I knew a lot about lift vehicles, and now I'm glad I know some more. Okay, so we didn't do a whole lot. It was just me and Commissioner Ackenbauer. And we did talk about, we reached out to the Department of Engineering and Development, and they are eventually going to take care of the 3rd Street stairs, the steps on 3rd Street across from the church, the alongside and across from the church, the Lutheran church down there that we were talking about. And so we've reached out and we're getting emails, and the plans are to eventually take care of that, but hopefully we want to step that up. And Commissioner Ackenbauer is supposed to look into signage, being able to maybe put our signs up in windows downtown, but hasn't gotten very far on that. And my only other thing is that we want to invite some other commissioners for the Michigan State Theater updates, and to see if anything else has happened with the parking in the accessible parking in the city. And that's it for that.
Got it. Thank you, Larry. No, I appreciate the support. So thank you so much. Do appreciate it. And yeah, absolutely. If there are any other commissioners that are interested in joining us as I follow up with the Marquee Arts, formerly Michigan and State Theater Foundation, for the Disability Film Series that's going to be kicking off in January, please let myself or Kennedy know so we can kind of add you to that email list as I follow up with them, so that you can be present at that next meeting when I follow up. And then secondly, thank you both, Larry, in the PIA, for all your work with accessible parking. If there is a point of contact that you need assistance with, on that regard, please don't hesitate to reach out. But thank you for that effort, Larry. Appreciate it.
Councilmember
And
Gatti
hopefully
Edwin.
we'll see a few of you.
Oh, hi. I think you already elevated me. I got kicked out and I thought I was in the waiting room, but thank you.
Okay. Vice Chairman, were you
I
going
hope to see you guys soon. I was just saying, hope to see you guys, some of you people at the next meeting, second Thursday of the month, at 5 o'clock.
All righty. Sounds good. Cool. Thank you, Larry. Next, I don't believe Commissioner Hawkins is on for community engagement. Is that correct, Kennedy?
That is correct.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I know that
She came into our meeting. She came into our meeting last, and I thought she had something to say, but apparently she didn't make it. So
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. She let me know ahead of time that she might be late, so no worries. All right. So next we're gonna move on, and Larry, don't go anywhere. Come on down because we need you to talk about recruiting activity.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we had nothing go on this month for recruiting, but we do have, if everything falls right, we will have a candidate to listen to at our next meeting. They were supposed to at this meeting, but apparently there was issues about them being here that month, so we should hopefully get them next month. And we'll listen to them and maybe approve them or do our thing,
Yeah, absolutely. I know that, there was, some good interest in the commissioners in terms of applications. I just think that one of the applicants that we're going to introduce, I think that they just decided that they wanted a little bit more time to kind of make the decision, see if it was a good fit. And so I think we'll have them present themselves at the November meeting. Is that correct, Kennedy?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you. Okay.
And we did not interview the other two candidates yet. So that's something
correct
for us to consider.
Yeah, that's correct. We do have two pending applications. Right now though, there is only one vacancy, which is why those applicants have yet to be reached out to in terms of going forward in the process. We can definitely interview them, Larry, but in terms of going forward, we have to make sure that seats are available for their appointment.
Correct. I think we should, though, in case this candidate, for example, decides they're not going to do it, or
Right.
any number of things. I think we should.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Thank you, Larry. Let's see. Next, we have the Transportation Commission update with Larry Keeler.
That'd be me again. Okay, we had our meeting last month, and it was the 18th of last month, and we also have one this evening at 7. And at our last meeting, we had in public comment there were some concerns about pedestrian safety downtown, and also people failing to yield down there. And then we had some updates about streets being worked on, like Burwood and Page, and still Greenville and Pauline are still being worked on. Maiden Lane, State North, you are going to be worked on pretty soon. And then Pauline, on Pauline Street, they're doing a major construction, water line construction and all kinds of things. Several blocks from 7th to downtown are being renovated, and they're going to put a lot of they're going to put raised intersections in, and so there's raised sidewalks or raised road at the intersection and the crosswalks, and these are designed to help people slow down. And they're talking about some of the crosswalks and some of the bike lanes, and in particular interfering with waste removal. In other words, people are putting their trash cans out, and of course the only place to put them in some places is in the bike lanes, and that's an issue. And that's about it. And there is one other thing that didn't go with the Transportation Commission, but in August, it was mentioned a little bit, but in August, the bus routes the times have been extended, and a few routes have been changed. So you made me think about that when you were talking about how late the concert went to. You could almost catch a bus after the concert downtown, if it's downtown at the library, because they all run past midnight. Some of them run past midnight now.
Well, yeah, that was
And that's
actually.
it.
It's funny you mentioned that, Commissioner Keeler, because that was actually my intent was to find out how late they went, so that if viewers were watching today and needed to catch a bus, they could know when that was going to be concluding, so that they could use the bus if they needed to. So, good point. All right. I apologize. Does that conclude your report?
Oh no, that concludes my report. I didn't have a lot to report, but yeah, it concludes it.
All righty.
Again, we have another one tonight, so you can watch it on. And if you want to, you can watch it on CTN tonight at 7. Transportation Commission.
All righty. Thank you very much,
That's
Larry.
it.
Thank you for all the work that you do on the Transportation Commission. It is very important and definitely needed. Next, we have the U of M Council for Disability Concerns meeting update with Commissioner Matthew Solomon. Matthew, good evening.
Hi. So the council met last Tuesday, the 8th. We had a fairly full agenda. Fortunately, Commissioner Mozak already forwarded the commission the full notes and links on the meeting in case anyone wants to get a fuller account. I'll just run through quick highlights of what was covered. First was the introduction of a new co-chair, Melissa Srekovich, who is at the UM Flint campus, a professor of special education, will be co-chairing Much of the meeting was taken up by a presentation by Winter McLeod, who gave a detailed presentation on accessible voting, which was extremely informative, thorough, and you can refer to the links for the complete presentation if that's of interest. Two announcements of upcoming events I'd like to bring to the attention of the commission. One is an event called Toward an Anti-Ableist Academy, which is going to take place October the 29th through the 31st. And the other event is the 5th Annual Disability Research Symposium hosted by the Center for Disability Health and Wellness. Again, links provided in the materials that Commissioner Mozak forwarded. That is my summary.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Solomon. Really, really exciting things, especially with, accessible voting. Very exciting. Thank you for sharing that. And then also the Disability Research Symposium. Sounds extremely informative and exciting. So I hope that all of us can make some of those events. Absolutely. And then, of course, the anti-ableism event. I think, something that hopefully our commission can be interested in as well. And so thank you, Matthew, for all of your work with the University Council for Disability Concerns. We really appreciate it. And congratulations to the new vice chairman as well, being named in there. And thank you again for all of your work. Awesome. All right. Next, we have the Organizational Equity Report with Tracy Bird. Hey, Tracy, the floor is yours.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you. It's just a couple of updates. Just wanted to let you know that there's going to be a two-part here that with the clerk's office, the last few months we've completed 22 polling place accessibility checks, 5 also of the drop boxes. And in conjunction with that, I will be working with Detroit Disability Power, who's coming into Washtenaw County, Ann Arbor, this election season to also do checks. And I am happy to send links to you all, but they are doing some training. This in-person training this Friday, as well as a online training. So if anybody is interested in volunteering with Detroit Disability Power this election season, I can, of course, send some links to you. I also wanted to remind everybody that AARP is doing a walk audit next Wednesday. The 23rd is the walk audit. I've got too many things open here. Let's take a look. It's Thursday the 24th, excuse me. I've got something else on the 23rd to tell you about. Thursday the 24th from 12 to 5. They are going to be meeting at the Ann Arbor District Library. I don't know if there's still spots available, but I think a link went out last week to sign up for that if you were interested. There's also, I just happened to see, walking through Carytown today, there is a planning meeting, a city planning meeting next Wednesday. I'm getting my days mixed up, the 23rd, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Ann Arbor District Library. So I would recommend, if you want your voices heard, to go to that as well. Always opportunities to advocate for yourself and others. And then the last thing is the U.S. Access Board is seeking public comment for a proposed rulemaking for EV or electric vehicle charging stations. If you think that it's appropriate, I'd be happy to send the email from the U.S. Access Board. So if anybody wanted to put in any type of public comment, they can do so. And Zach, you're absolutely correct. It was a wonderful. I didn't see there. I attended early the fundraiser for Disability Network. I got a T-shirt. I finally got my tie-dye T-shirt, and I was happy to be able to participate with the summit they had this afternoon as well. So, wanted to thank Disability Network for all of the wonderful advocacy work and resources they provide to the community. And that's all I've got.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tracy. A lot going on, my goodness, in the space of disability and accessibility. And so thank you just for all of your work of keeping us informed on all of the amazing events. So, yeah, I'm very interested in that planning meeting. I think that could be very beneficial for commissioners. So yeah, if you don't mind forwarding that, that would be great at the Ann Arbor District Library. And then yeah, thank you for sending all the other information as well. And then hopefully, if any of the commissioners are interested in any of the additional events, they can reach out, and then somehow all of us together can get them the information. So thank you. Thank you very much. And yes, I'm sorry I missed you October 10th at the brewery. But yes, I agree. Very, very great event. Really enjoyed that, and hopefully Mothfire can do it again. Also, thank you for letting us know, Tracy, that the uh, uh, event earlier today was taking place. Hopefully, the commissioners can also attend that next year. I think it would be that would be beneficial as well. So, just thank you. Hopefully, it was beneficial. Hopefully, a lot of good decision makers were in the room, and hopefully, the commission can have a seat at that event next year. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Let me get my place here. Pardon me. Next, we have the city personnel report with Kennedy.
Hey everyone. So for this month, I currently have no personnel updates that's happening at the city. I would like to just shout out and make a note that if you haven't registered to vote already, you still can. And please make sure that if you're doing absentee ballots, that you are returning them before it's too late. And that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kennedy. And yes, absolutely, folks. If there is any reason or information that you need on registering to vote or knowing how to get your absentee ballot or where your ballot drop box is, please do not hesitate to reach out to be able to contribute and do your civic duty. With that, with the chair report, others have mentioned this in today's meeting, but I did attend the event for Disability Network on October 10th. I thought it was really great. I hope they do another event like that next year. It was just good to support our brothers and sisters, the Disability Network, Washington, Monroe, Livingston, and all the work that they're doing, and very excited about that. Also, I did want to mention too that I wanted to just relay some good news on behalf of the commission and I think our community, but do not want to steal any thunder there. But just wanted to say that I'm excited to report that the right to sit ordinance has been approved in the city, and things are moving forward with that. But I also wanted to mention to the commission that if you do feel, passionate and you do want to speak in support of that, please feel free. I know that there's going to be another opportunity to do so on October 21st, and I hope that the commission can show some support, not only on this very important issue of the right to sit ordinance within our city, but just in terms of accessibility and reasonable accommodations within businesses and then concerning employers who need those reasonable accommodations in our city. Beyond that, that's all I have for the chair report at this time. Next, I'd like to move forward to the city council update with council liaison Aisha Ghazi Edwin.
Thank you, Chair Damon. FYI, everyone, I am not on camera. I'm actually helping to pick up my son right now. So yeah, right to sit. Thank you so much, Chair Damon, for coming, and any others who may have called in or supported it. It did pass first reading on October 7th. And during the last few weeks, when I postponed it, I met with both labor unions and I met with some business associations. And there were some concerns on the business side, but I just kept reinforcing that, this is about reasonable accommodation. It's a disability justice issue. And, if there are issues that we see after implementation, then it could be revisited. As Chair Damon shared, on October 21st is our next city council meeting, and it will be the second reading because this is actually a change in law. It has to go through two readings, and there'll also be a public hearing. So there'll be an opportunity for members of the public to come and speak in support of it or speak not in support of it. So anyone who is able to come, and if you support this, please do come. That would be great. So another thing that I want to update you all on is I went to a Downtown Development Authority work session last night, and the DDA is what manages our downtown and helps to manage parking and gain revenue from parking. And they just completed an ADA access audit of their curbs and parking management, which was really interesting to hear those results. And what I learned is that there's new federal regulations coming down in regards to accessible parking spots, how many need to be in a city based upon radius, based upon per block. And so they're starting to implement those new standards over the next year. And that will include adding 100 new accessible parking spots to the city, which is great. Thank you, Tracy, for mentioning the access audits with Detroit Disability Power. I'm coordinating that with the School of Social Work after leaving DDP as the deputy director. And in my new role as professor, I've coordinated between the school and DDP, and we do badly need volunteers. We have about 20 right now, but we really do need volunteers for election day specifically. So what you would help to do is go to different polling locations in Washtenaw and audit them on elections day. And I will share the link for the training that's happening this Friday. And we're having a virtual one next Monday with Kennedy. So that Kennedy, if you can distribute that to the commission, that would be great. And if you can't come, please share it with others. And then, also the AARP walk, I'm looking forward to stopping by and joining that. And I encourage others to be able to attend as well if you can. And that's it for me.
Awesome. I mean, a lot of great work there, council member. And so thank you so much. I mean, a lot of great things. And, I'm really, excited to hear of what you're doing at the University of Michigan, and then, the partnership with Detroit Disability Power for the audits. I think that's outstanding. And yes, if any of us, as commissioners have the time, have the capacity to volunteer and assist with these audits, I think that it's very paramount to make sure that these polling places are accessible for all voters, so that every vote can be counted, every voter can do their civic duty and vote when the time is needed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Damon. And just a quick add, we'll be collecting data from these audits, and I'm working with the University of Michigan to help generate a report. The previous report from the 2022 elections was conducted by the Carter Center in conjunction with DDP, and now we're hoping to do it for this election. And we'll be providing that report to city clerks all over the state. And Washtenaw County is one of the many counties that DDP has expanded their audit project to, and this is the largest accessibility audit of polling locations that's ever occurred in history. So it's a great thing to get involved in.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to old business. Do we have any old business at this time?
Currently, we have no old business.
Thank you, Kennedy. New business? Do we have any new business at this time?
Currently, we have none. Is there any commissioner with new business for the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we have no new business.
All right, thank you, Kennedy. Any communications?
As far as the agenda, there are no communications. Are there any commissioners with any communications at this time for the commission? Seeing none, we have no communications.
Thank you. With that being said, it is now 5:05 here on Wednesday, October 16th. Um, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting if there are no any additional points. Um, so is there a move to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
All right, Rosanita makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Seconded. All in favor of adjourning today, October 16th, please unmute and say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Meeting is adjourned today. I have to say, I miss all of you. I hope at some point we can see each other in person somehow and have a chance to get a chance to celebrate sometime in the holidays. I'll talk to Kennedy about possibly what that could be, but I think I would love to do a commission holiday get together at some point if all of you are open to that. So.